All right. Well, last time we were here, wandering around, exploring this hidden, forgotten place, we were spooking ourselves by recalling to mind the names given to the awesome or awe-inspiring beings specifically located here, Mount Hiba, in the earliest Japanese written document, the Kojiki, accounts of ancient matters. Those matters were ancient even then, back in 712, when the texts were all finally collected. The back part of the Kojiki, dealing with the reigns of emperors and empresses, is from later, most of it probably 7th century. The front part, with all the mythological stuff, is older. Some people put it in the 6th century, but there's no stopper in that direction. You could slide it as far back as you want. You could think it to be very much older. I do. Rock splitter, root splitter, rock possessor, luxuriant snapper, possessor of the true pass of the mountains, the descent of the mountains, the innermost mountains, the dark mountains, the densely wooded mountains, the outlying mountains, the moorland mountains, basically all the mountains. Sounds like Hiba to me. Sounds like the Japanese Bigfoot, Japanese Sasquatch. Now, as we enjoy the view from Ryoichi's butt cam, editing out Shy Hiro, who keeps walking behind Ryoichi with infuriating frequency. Our little group had no discipline at all, especially me. I kept bounding off in the woods like a dog off his leash. Next time I guess we'll mount the camera on Hiro. Put it on her belt, and that will solve that problem. Now, it's not the best video. I realize that. I know that. You don't have to tell me. But it does give you an unedited, well, except for editing out Hiro's close-ups, an unedited view of the interior of the solar calendar. And that's not too bad for a first try, I think, on a shoestring budget by an amateur. Now, the whole idea of a butt cam or rear-facing camera was in case at any time we were being followed or peeked at from behind, from around a tree. Next time, I think I'll try to mount it on a firm backpack, preferably on the back of whoever doesn't want their face on YouTube, or I'll have to establish a rule of order in the line and maintain it with an iron fist. But iron fist discipline isn't really my thing. Last dip into the Kojiki today. Last dip that I plan. Chapter 9. The Land of Hell. The mother goddess Izanami, fatally burned in her private parts, has died on Mount Hiba, in her birthing cave on Mount Hiba. She has been buried on Mount Hiba and descended down to hell from Mount Hiba. Now, her brother and husband, Izanagi, missing her, goes down after her. And here we pick up the story. Thereupon his Augustness, the male who invites, wishing to meet and see his younger sister, her Augustness, the female who invites, followed after her to the land of hell. So, when from the palace she raised the door and came out to meet him, his Augustness, the male who invites, spoke, saying, "Thine Augustness, my lovely younger sister, the lands that I and thou, maid, are not yet finished making, so come back. Then her Augustness, the female who invites, answered, saying, O lamentable indeed that thou earnest not sooner! I have eaten of the furnace of Hades. Nevertheless, as I reverence the entry here of thine Augustness, my lovely elder brother, I wish to return. Moreover, I will discuss it particularly with the gods of Hades. Look not at me. Having thus spoken, she went back inside the palace, and as she tarried there very long, he could not wait. So, having taken and broken off one of the end teeth of the multitudinous and close-toothed comb stuck in the august left bunch of his hair, he lit one light and went in and looked. Oh, maggots were swarming over her, and she was rotting. In her head dwelt the great thunder, in her breast dwelt the fire thunder, in her left hand dwelt the young thunder, in her right hand dwelt the earth thunder, in her left foot dwelt the rumbling thunder, and in her right foot dwelt the couchant thunder. Altogether 8 thunder deities had been born and dwelt there. Hereupon his Augustness, the male who invites, overawed at the sight, fled back, whereupon his younger sister, her Augustness, the female who invites, said, Thou hast put me to shame, and at once sent the Hags of Hell, to pursue him. Well, there does indeed follow a long and convoluted pursuit. Looks like something out of Benny Hill, the Benny Hill show, but it ends in this way. So, Izanagi, drew 1,000 draft rock. That's a boulder so big that it would take 1,000 men to pick it up. And with it he blocked up the even pass of Hades and placed the rock in the middle. And they stood opposite to one another and exchanged leave-takings. And her Augustness, the female who invites, said, My lovely elder brother, thine Augustness, if thou do like this, I will, in one day, strangle to death 1,000 of the people of thy land. Then his Augustness, the male who invites, replied, My lovely younger sister, thine Augustness, if thou do this, I will in one day set up 1,500 parturition houses. Those are birth-giving huts. The idea being that he's going to marry 1,500 brides and have them all give birth. In this manner, each day 1,000 people would surely be born. So her Augustness, the female who invites, is called the great goddess of hell. Again, it is said that owing to her having pursued and reached her elder brother, she is also called the road-reaching great goddess. Again, the rock with which he blocked up the pass of Hades is called the great deity of the road turning back, and again it is called the blocking great deity of the door of hell. So, what was called the even pass of hell is now called the Ifuya Pass in the land of Idzumo. Parenthetically, on Mount Hiba. The rock blocking the passage is here. We have not hiked that path yet, but we hope to. Maybe next year, I hope. There's so much to do up there and so little time. Well, about this story, it's the hags of hell that jump out at me. Jump out and grab me by the lapel and shake me. Because, of course, because of the Oni. Not the Oni. It sounds like Oni, but it's Ouni. The Ouni is, quoting from yokai.com, an ugly hag with an angry face and a body covered in long hair. She is a kind of Yamauba, or mountain hag. She lives deep in the mountains, away from civilization, and only occasionally appears before humans. Unlike most Yamauba, Ouni are friendly towards humans who treat them kindly. Ouni's name comes from the Japanese word for reimi, a fibrous plant that is used to make thread, and peat, the rotten muck found in swamps that comes from rotting plant matter. The first part of her name describes the long hair which covers her body and resembles thick threads. The second part refers to her filthy, hairy body, which makes her look like she is covered in dead vegetation. Well, I would add that it could also describe her smell, and in some individuals, their dark brown or black color. Okay, step back. Step back and squint at this. What do we have? Hairy, elusive, reclusive, mountain hags with black teeth, known for their bad tempers, but they can also recognize and even return kindness. Again, I think we have a triangulation between Japan's earliest written document, and it's just amazing that several of the opening chapters are set on Mount Hiba. No other mountain in this country but Mount Hiba, our Mount Hiba. We had, in the previous chapter, the awesome beings on Mount Hiba, splitting roots and splitting rocks and snapping things, snapping trees, I'm sure, all over the place. Possessing all the mountains. That lines up. Now these mountain hags, which could be the female of the species, lining up with the Oni from later legends, and lining up very nicely with contemporary eyewitness reports of the Hibagon, the Japanese Bigfoot. That's what I mean by triangulation. The hags of hell had a protective assignment. They were protecting Izanami and her secrets. Izanami, who didn't want her face to be seen, like my friend Hiro. And according to the Kumano Shrine, the protecting spirit, the protectors of Mount Hiba, look something like this. Humanoid and hairy. All right, well, I see we have time still on Ryoichi's butt cam, so I'll see what the police incident occurrence and accident report has. Let's see here. Arrests. Arrested for special fraud. Hiroshima Nishi Police Station, Organized Crime Countermeasures Division 1. In collusion on November 4th, the accomplice impersonated the victim's son and called the victim several times in Nishi Ward, Hiroshima City, saying, "I'm in urgent need of cash. I'm calling for cash." Like that. Oh, It's a well-known fraud. On December 9th, a 20-year-old man who pretended to be the acquaintance's son, and defrauded the victim of 10 million yen in cash was arrested. 10 million yen, that's today's rates, that's about $80,000 US dollars. Arrested for shoplifting. On December 10th, a 56-year-old woman was arrested red-handed for stealing sushi rolls from a commercial facility in Takaramachi, Nakaku, Hiroshima City. That's sad when you have these people stealing food. I'm sure there are some sad stories there. Arrested for injury in Kure. On December 10th at Chuo Gochome, Kure City, a 64-year-old man was arrested red-handed for pushing the victim's chest with his hand and causing him to fall onto the floor, resulting in a head injury for an unknown number of days. That means it's going to take a few days for his head to get better. Arrested for home invasion, Etajima. On December 10th, a 21-year-old man who entered the victim's premises in Etajima City, was arrested. Guess what? Red-handed. Arrested for repeat offense theft, Fukuyama, near me, Fukuyama Higashi Police Station. As a habit, or habitually, on December 10th, a man, 79, was arrested for stealing eye drops. I think there's a misplaced modifier here. He was stealing the eye drops habitually from a pharmacy in Sanomaru-cho, Fukuyama City. I think I know that pharmacy. Arrested for assault, Hiroshima Nishi Precinct. On December 11th, a 47-year-old man was arrested red-handed right on the street in Kogo Kita Nichome, Nishiku, Hiroshima City, where he punched the victim once in the face and then kicked him in the abdomen several times with the knee. Kick him with the knee. Arrested for shoplifting. On December 11th, a 39-year-old man was arrested for stealing a figurine, from a commercial facility in Nichome, Hiromoto-cho, Kure. Arrested for lust. I didn't know lust was an actual crime. Arrested for lust in Fukuyama, Nishi Precinct. On September 4th, a 61-year-old man was arrested for stealing underwear from a laundromat in Dokuchome, Yamate-cho, Fukuyama City. All right, we still have time. I'll play you out with a little music.